Ladies, I don't know if you're like me, but I like my conversations like I like my drinks. Straight, no chaser. Is that job killing your soul? Well, it's time to leave that cubicle farm and dump that job like a bad ex-boyfriend and leap into entrepreneurship full time. I am Linda Otterbridge, your host of the No Plan B Entrepreneur Podcast, where I interview fierce lady bosses who have pursued their dreams and did so without a safety net. Welcome to the No Plan B Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey, Miss Sophia DaLioness Lightbourne. Hope I said it right, DaLioness.
You sure did.
Okay, so glad to have you here at the No Plan B Entrepreneur Straight No Chaser. That means you're going to tell it straight, no chaser. Tell it like it is. So the No Plan B Entrepreneur, we want to talk to people who are like you, out there doing their thing and out there really, I want to hear the stories, the challenges and all that you have to offer as far as when you jumped out. So before we get going, we're going to talk a little bit about Sophia and see what she's all about. This is what Miss Sophia had to say. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Love, love, love that. Why not you? Why not now? These are the words Sophia Lightbourne lives by. As a high-performance business coach, she has helped and encouraged so many people from all walks of life to start businesses, improve their credit and their finances to start living the life they deserve. And don't we all want that? Coming from the Bahamas, such a small country, and being the youngest of her siblings, Sophia has shown us that dreams do come true if you believe. Apply yourself and take advantage of opportunities. Her life mantra is entrepreneurship and self-development. Sophia has consistently performed as a top affiliate, yes, a top affiliate, in the financial success company Novae, a company that thrives on new beginnings and helps the average person shift their way of thinking to uncover their purpose and realize their full potential. Though she has achieved success in a short time, it was not always that way. She was living paycheck to paycheck, stuck in a 9-to-5 job, and boy, don't we I'll leave that to Sophia to talk about. That was really only enough to cover the bills. She realized that the normal expectation of society and the American dream was not enough. She associated with like-minded individuals who helped put her in the position to actively build a successful business and help thousands the same along the way. Sophia states often that inspiration isn't the key to life changes. Hold on. Sophia states often that inspiration isn't the key to life changes. Now, you know why I had to read that twice, because I thought it would be is the key. You see, I read it like, wait a minute, what do you mean it isn't the key? So it sort of caught me. Motivation isn't the key to life change. See, now this is new to me because all these things I thought would be. The key to life change is education, and with a new mindset, new information, and a new environment, success is inevitable. Yes, yes, and yes. Welcome, Miss Sophia DaLioness Lightbourne. So glad to have you here at the No Plan B Entrepreneur Straight No Chaser Stories. What do you have to say, Miss Sophia?
Thank you so much, Linda, for having me, man. I appreciate it. I'm humbled and I'm honored, that you chose me to kind of talk to your audience about, just kind of jumping out there as an entrepreneur with no plan B.
Yes.
And it's so funny, you when you kind of got tongue twisted in the bio, and you're right. Most people think that, inspiration and motivation is what kind of starts to change in your life.
Right.
But it is. It's not enough. You've got to learn new things and apply the things that you're learning to really start to change set in.
Exactly. And that's what, you're right. Reading the Bible, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that's not? I thought that's all I needed. You threw me for a loop there. But I love reading the bio. I hate that I messed it up because you caught me. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay.
So yes, I'm just so glad to have you here. But what I want to do is I want to jump right into it because, these podcasts, people get like nervous when you start going over a certain time, and I don't want anyone to fall off the wagon because they can't stay on. So let's get straight to it. Straight no chaser, no plan B entrepreneur. Tell us about your business and what led you to jumping in without a net to the no plan B world.
Okay, definitely. So my business, I'm in the financial services business. I basically, like you read in the bio, I help people really focus on getting better finances, so that we can start living the lives we deserve.
Yes.
And the reason that I kind of made the leap of faith and jumped all in is because it was something at the time in my life that was really important. I wanted to get my money right.
Right.
Think
Get
about
money right.
I don't know any bills you can pay with love or potential. You need money, right? So that that really made me say, you know what, I've got to buckle down and figure out how I'm going to get my finances right, how I'm going to improve my situation so that I can start to live the life that I dreamed of. I didn't just move from the Bahamas to America to survive. I moved to thrive. And that was not happening. That was not happening. I was broke and busted and disgusted. And, that was enough. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
That's really what happened. I got sick and tired of the same thing happening. Me just having enough to pay the bills and not have anything for myself.
Right.
And I realized that, people say all the time, my job, right? The just over broke. That was the cycle that I was stuck in. It was just enough to stay above board, but not enough to live the life that I wanted. And I made a decision that if I was going to bust my butt and go hard, I was going to do it for myself, and find something that I was passionate about, to really start to create the life that I wanted for myself. And I just had to jump all in, right? You can't stand on the ledge. You've got to make the leap.
And when you say jump all in, I know you're going to get to it. So I'm trying not to interrupt you. So I'm just going to let you talk. Because I want to know what that was like. I want to know that first year, that second year, that third year. I want to know when your jumping all in had you trying to backstroke and get back.
Yeah, all the time. Like you're right. When you first, it's fair. You're so afraid of when you move that security net, right? And that's why most of us stay at the jobs that we don't like, with the people we don't care that much about.
I'm still there. Cubicle fire.
It's because of it's security, right? Mm-hmm. It's the security to know that every other Friday you're gonna get a direct deposit and you're gonna have enough to pay the bills.
Right.
Even if you don't have enough to do nothing else, that you're gonna have
enough to pay the bills.
Exactly. And that sense of security is what keeps us there and keeps us going, even though we may feel like we have so much more to offer, so much more potential, but it's just that fear of losing that security, that kind of keeps most people from taking the leap. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was just willing to eat ramen noodles. Like I was willing to figure it out. And I'll be 100% honest with you, Linda. I don't have kids, it's just me. Right. So for me, my decision may be a little easier because if I was not going to have food, it was just me.
Right.
Not like me and my kid. So that makes the situation a little bit more, involved for other people. For me, I was like, listen, if I got to eat ramen noodles, I buy a case of that bad boy for $6 and that can get me through the month, if that's what it came to.
Stop it.
But I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Mm-hmm. I knew it was going to be tough. Mm-hmm. But I was willing to go through it. I was willing to go through the rough days. And what I had to do was I just made a decision that, listen, Sophie, if you're going to walk away from your job, you've got to set the right expectation that you got to put pedal to the metal.
Yes.
You've got to do with all you've got because you have no choice.
Right.
You don't work, you don't get paid, right? You don't get paid, the bills don't get paid.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you stretch yourself and get so uncomfortable, it forces you to do what you have to do. See, a lot of times because you've got that safety net, right? We're at the job, we know that on Friday the money's coming. We don't go as hard as we would if we didn't. So sometimes you don't see the success that you want to see in your business or whatever you're focused on until your back's against the wall. Mm-hmm. And I forced myself to put myself in that position to be like, listen, it's do or die.
Oh,
right?
My goodness. That just sounds scary. That's what I'm saying. It takes a special kind of person to be a no plan B, because the risk tolerance, everybody got a different risk level and that tolerance. And like you said, depending on what your situation is, children, husband, whatever else, there's other individuals. So you can't just make a decision to just jump all in. And some people do. Some people like, okay, we all eating ramen noodles. The whole family just jump on in the box, grab your box, get at the table. That's what we're having for the month.
You know what's really important though, being a no plan B, is your associations. You've got to have other people around
I
you
like that.
who like don't make you feel crazy for jumping. Because think about it, most people will be like, "Girl, are you nuts? How are
Trying to
you
get you
gonna
to go back.
survive?" And you don't need that kind of energy
Right.
because what you focus on expands. So if you start to focus only on the fear, see what I did is I was scared out of my mind, but then I didn't focus there. I
Right.
focused on the reward. I
Right.
focused on the goal.
Yes.
And because I focused on the goal, it kept making it clearer and clearer to the finish line instead of focusing on this on what you're scared of. Because if you focus on what you're afraid of, man, you wouldn't do anything. Fear will paralyze you, right? So I just had great people around me who were like, "Go for it. You know, go for it. I believe in you." You know, I was able to. People believe that I can do it, and I was able to borrow their belief even when I didn't really believe.
I love it. What did you say? You were able to borrow their beliefs, even if you didn't believe. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
that's what's required. I got mentors, and they saw something in me. They said, "Sophie, you've got a fire in you. I believe that you can do it." And when people you look up to give you that kind of encouragement, it really puts you in the next level of belief.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it raises the belief level. And one of the things I learned really early on is that your success level will never surpass your belief level. So
Please say that again. Please say that again.
your success level will never be greater than your belief level. So, and think about it. If you're doing something and you kind of believe, you are not going to have massive success.
Right.
It's just happen. If you want to be massively successful, you've got to massively believe. You know, so you got to build your belief. And like I said, the people around you help to build that belief. You know, people who push you, who encourage you, people who you know, they got your back. You know, you may not be able to go stay with them if you can't pay the rent, but at least.
But you know they're pushing you.
Exactly. You can get an encouraging word. And most times, I believe that that's what most people lack is that little push. Yes. Sometimes you just need someone in your ear to say, "Go, girl." Mm-hmm. You know, keep going.
And you know, I'm all about that. I want you to talk a little bit more about mentors, tribes, and not really, you know, sometimes it's not really the accountability coach, but like you said, just that those support networks, support systems, having those in place. I know not long ago I did a podcast and I said, connections are the new cash cow. And they were like, I said, yeah.
That's heavy.
They're the new cash cow.
You're right.
So yeah.
No, and definitely. And I had a mentor, Miss Carla Watson at the time when I was first making the transition. And I'm so grateful for her because I would call her when I was having those days that were rough. You know, you're on an emotional roller coaster. If you miss targets, you miss goals, you're stressed. You're like, listen, how am I going to pay the bills? You know, electricity bill is due. What am I going to do? And I would call her and be like kind of stressed and feeling under the weather. And honestly, sometimes I would call looking for some sympathy, right?
She wasn't having it.
Didn't give it to me. Like she would listen and then she would say, "Sophie, you ain't ready. I thought you was ready for success. You ain't ready." And I would be like,
"What do you do with that?"
I would be like, "Let me call you right back." Right? And I would have my little tear session to myself, but I realized that the people around me didn't want to hear a pity party. She always said, "Sophie, you can make money or you can make excuses. You can't make money." Right? And
write that down on top of my board.
Money or make excuses. The thing that matters are results. So what you're talking about right now, feeling sorry for yourself, that's not going to get you a result. So get it together and get yourself together. Ooh. And that love, at the time, that was not what I wanted to hear. Ooh. I wanted girl, you can be all right. I wanted to just,
wallow crying with her. I'd always be in crying mode. I'd be like, I don't want to talk to her.
Exactly. But with her, she pushed me. And you know what I had to do? I was like, listen, this lady is immensely successful.
Right.
I'm looking at the results she's having. And this is what she's telling me. I gotta put my big girl drawers on,
Ready.
Basically. So that's why it's so powerful to have great people around you, to push you, because a lot of times people would say, you know what? No, you might just go back to work. Just go get a job, right? Because that's the easiest thing.
Right. But
easy isn't what I'm looking for, right? I believe, Linda, to live the life that most people don't, you got to be willing to do what most people won't. So
say it again.
Live the life that most don't. you've got to be willing to do what most won't.
Y'all
And
write it down. Write it down, people.
Yeah, most people will not leave that security and that comfort zone.
Oh my goodness.
Greatness comes outside of your comfort zone. So I just had to make a decision, to cut off all other options. There was no plan B. You
ran right head on into my next question, because that was going to be my next question. What was it that moved you? Because my husband taught me about the, fuck you box. When you got fuck you money, you can take your fuck you box to work and plant your little box. So all you got to do is put your little stuff in, time to go. So, but if you didn't plan with what do you do? What led you to that lane?
Of just going full force in it?
What was it that just you woke up one day and just said, I'm ready? Or did I miss that?
I was unhappy at my job for a long time because it wasn't fulfilling. I felt like it was just purposeless. I was waking up just in a routine. And I'm the type of person, I want to feel fulfilled every day, right? So if I go to work and I'm going through the same cycle and nothing is I have a void. Right. It started to take a toll on me emotionally and mentally. I was like, listen, I hate doing this. The money ain't good, right? And I'm not, walking in, and I don't feel like I'm fulfilling any purpose. Right. And I kind of battled with it for months. Right. I had my resignation letter typed up months before I resigned, because I couldn't build up the nerve to actually do it, because I had that battle going on. I called my mom and I'm like, listen, man, I need to leave this job. I feel like I'm getting sick. I hate it.
Oh my! So emotionally and
emotionally, I was done. And when you think about it, when you quit your job months before you actually quit your job, you quit in your mind. You quit mentally.
I definitely understand that.
Like you going at that point, after you've made that mental decision in your head, you're really just going through the motions.
Yes.
It's a ritual. It's a habit.
You are speaking to me, but okay.
Yes. Basically, what happened is eventually I was like, listen, I got two things: money, like a paycheck, or my happiness. And one of the reason that I want money isn't to really have things, because I'm not materialistic. I'm super simple. Like I don't have a list of things I want to buy. It's the happiness. It's the freedom that I was chasing. So I decided that my happiness was worth more to me than some money. And I was like, listen, I'm going to just take a leap and go after it and give this thing all I got. I know I'm talented in a lot of things, and I knew I had what it took, because my belief in me is great. I'll bet on me any day. So I was like, you know what? Go for it. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that was going to happen for me was I would move back home to the Bahamas, right? I never wanted to do that, but that was the ultimate worst. I was like, you know what? Give it a shot. I prefer to live a life of trying than to live a life of regret. And say,
I love it. I love it.
I don't want to live that way. So I just decided to just give it all I got and bet on me and work my butt off.
And did you ever bet on you? Because you are everywhere. Every time I open a Facebook, I said, live video on here, teaching this. YouTube where? Everywhere. And I've learned of you by joining my econ. I joined my econ here in Grand Rapids, and someone gave me your video and said, hey, check her out. And I've been following you since. I said, look at this one. Oh, I like that. All the information you shared about Facebook and YouTube and analytics. And I'm thinking, this girl is not playing. She is no joke. And you're just everywhere. And that's what I love about it. And this is before I knew all this. You always wonder when you see people on Facebook doing videos all over social media, what led them there? What have driven them to that extent that they are just saying, no, I'm not getting off your channel. So you might as well turn it off. I'm going to be everywhere you turn on. I'm going to be there. You're going to be hearing dings all night. So turn off your notifications. If you don't want to hear them, I'm coming through. And you coming through, you've been through, and you just like, get out the way. I'm coming through. So if you don't want to get ran over, just move out the way. And that's the way I see you. I don't know where that DaLioness came from. DaLioness came from.
And it's so funny because who I am now is
my God.
I was the quietest person in the room. Like,
get out of here.
Yeah, I was silent. This is amazing. Like, I've got friends who, kind of been following my journey over the last 5 years. And now they're like, Sophie, who are you?
Oh
You
my
wouldn't
goodness.
record yourself on like audio. How are you doing videos? And
I
you
can't
know,
imagine it.
but here's what pushed me there, Linda. When I made that decision that I was going to build my business 100% full time, I had to do whatever it took. I knew that in order for me to build my business, people have to know who I was. You know, right? No one was going to
Right.
come knock on my
Right.
door and, hey, here's some money. I
Yeah,
had
exactly.
to actually build it. And that's why I said, when you make a decision, right? Like something that I learned, I might mess this up a little bit, but something like I learned was the word decide, right?
Mm-hmm.
The suffix of the word ID. If you think about it, what that means is to cut away from. And that's decide, that's homicide, that's suicide, to
Right.
cut away, right? So what you do is you make a decision. That means you decide you have no other options. That's what a decision, you know? So I made a decision that I was going to do this thing. And I was like, I got to get in people's face. I've got to put myself out there.
Right.
Videos are like, I look at my video content as little employees. So when I'm sleeping, my videos are still out there. So now
Did you just say little employees?
Yeah, that's what I think about. That's why I put out so much videos, because I'm like, every video I put out, every piece of content is a little employee that's working for me.
I can see that. Uh-huh.
You know, that's why I'm able to come to the Bahamas for this week. You know, it's something totally different, but I'm still building my business because people see my videos on YouTube or Facebook where I'm sharing information. So that's the power of this thing. And I just had to get uncomfortable because I knew that exactly the things that I was running away from were the things that would take my business to the next level. And when your back's against the wall, you ain't got no choice. Right?
You've cut all the fat away. You say everything getting out. I'm kicking away everything, kicking to the curb because I'm moving forward in my no plan B world. And you're right. You didn't have any options. So you had to make it work because you weren't going back.
When you give yourself too many options, it stops you from doing what you need to do.
I like that. I like that.
You gotta strip it away. You gotta be like, this is my only, I have no other alternative. And then you'll give it all you got. I promise you would.
Woo!
But as long as you, like you say, me and you spoke before, right? You're dangling on the edge. There's one foot still up there. You're not, you know, it's gonna be kind of tough. But just go for it. Like you may feel like you're going down this way, but the parachute opens on the way down and you fly, right?
I like the way you make it sound. You're like, yeah, just jump on up there. You're gonna, the parachute's gonna open. But you're like, but what if? We won't even dip our feet in the water. Like, no, we're gonna tip our big toe in the water. We're just gonna test this. No. You gotta jump in.
Dive in.
Oh my goodness. I'm nervous just listening to it. I'm like, oh my God, you know, because it does. It just sounds fearful. So to me, it sounds, because I'm just thinking of, what if I did this next week? What would my life look like? I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be nervous. My heart would be palpitating. Like you said, when those bills come in, I'd be like, okay, what's next? I think my anxiety level would just go right up because and especially if it's a pay period, that week pop on, like, wait a minute, where's my check? I'm like, somebody gonna give me a check today. I would be so messed up. So I think that you had to really think that through.
Yeah, and you have to plan as well. You know, one of the things I always tell, because what I do in my business is, you know, I kind of teach people what I was able to do.
And right? Thank you. There's a teacher moment now.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for, the teacher moment.
I can't teach you how to make $1 million. I haven't made $1 million yet. But I can teach you how to do what I've done. You know, I make 5 figures in my home-based business easily.
Exactly.
You know, I'm able to help people do that. And one of the first things that people say, you know, they always ask me, Sophie, how do I get off this job? I'm like, listen, do not quit your job. Like, without a plan. Because I'm not saying don't make the leap, but you got to be smart, right? Everything is about strategy. You've got to have some money to pay some bills for a few months.
Exactly.
Right? Because, you know, most people are only 2 paychecks away from being homeless. Most people, if they miss a check twice, like that government shutdown.
Oh, that government shutdown caused some problems, didn't it?
Exactly. So you want to have a plan. So you want to make sure you've got some money saved. You know, you've got some money so you can carry yourself for a few months, you know, 4 to 6 months. So it is up. You have to plan this thing. But what I want you to realize, and what I teach people, is your job is your number one investor.
Right.
That's how you gotta look at your job. Your job is paying the bills, but you got to make sure that when you're using the job, you're not just paying bills, you're investing into your future. You're putting something aside. You're investing in some type of asset to bring you some money so that when you walk away, you're not on zero, right?
There you go.
Raise your zero from zero to a couple thousand.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's
So
what you do at Novae. You prepare entrepreneurs for that. And I love the way you talk about that. Can you talk a little bit more about, and you're on a good, I'm getting ready to wind it down now, but you're on a good tip to talk about what you do at Novae to get people on, because my next question for you is, what advice, and that's where you're going with the financial, what advice would you give future no plan B entrepreneurs, and what's next for you?
Awesome, definitely. So like my advice is for no plan B entrepreneurs, if you're thinking of, taking the leap, if you believe in your business or your product or whatever it is that you're doing, first you got to really believe. You can't dibble and dabble. You can't it cannot be a whim. It has to be something within you. You have to breathe it. It has to be in you. You've got to kind of identify, what your purpose is, right? And you can identify your purpose, and if what you're doing aligns with that purpose, then go for it. But you want to make sure financially that you're prepared.
Exactly.
You want to make sure you save some money. If I would recommend most people, start some type of, home-based business while you're doing your job to just bring a second source of income in. So when source number one goes away, you've got something still generating, even if it's not as much, because your stress level is going to be up to here if you have $0. And I've been there lots of times, where I didn't have a dollar to my name, and I was like, why did I leave my job, right? But what it was for me is I'm like, I refuse to fail, right? Exactly. Failure is not an option. So I was like, you know what? I just got to work harder. If this person can do it, I can do it.
There you go.
They got some information I don't know, or they've got some disciplines, and that's the next piece of advice I give to them is discipline. Listen, daily disciplines done daily builds character. Success doesn't come from the big jumps, leaps and bounds. It's from the little things that you do consistently every single day. So you got to develop discipline. And that's the one thing that's stopping most people from all their goals, not just financially, which is health, right? That's why people, they're overweight, is because the discipline
and consistency.
Those are the two things that's going to take you wherever you want to go. So I would definitely say, have a plan, have a financial plan, put yourself around some great people, have a great support system, and get some mentors. Find some people who have what you want. Model what they're doing so that you can model their results. One of the things I feel like most people do is we look at people closest to us just based on proximity and convenience, but they don't have the results you want. If you want to be a no plan B entrepreneur, but everyone around you is working their job forever, they're not the type of people who can tell you how to leave your job.
Say that again. You follow the wrong people.
Yeah. You follow
some no plan B entrepreneurs to see what they're doing before they jump right in.
Exactly. And find out from them what they did. How was it? Because they can give you the plan. Think about it now. Think about if you want to really make the leap of faith and go after your dreams, and you talk to a friend who's never done it, and they say, girl, you should just quit. They can't prepare you for the days when you can't pay a bill, when you can't even put gas in your car. When the emotional stress that you're going to be under.
Exactly.
But if you can,
I told you I'd be crying. I'd be crying the minute I'll jump in. I know I would. My emotions would be all over the place. So I know I would just.
But to pull it together is you got somebody who could just give you that sound advice in your ear, like, girl, I've been there before. Don't worry, it won't stay that way. Work a little harder in your business. 2 more hours extra per day.
Exactly.
5 more phone calls a day. Whatever it is that you got to do, someone can help you in that area. But if they've never done it, man, they can't
tell you anything. They can't tell you if they haven't done it. No. I like that. Ooh, that's some good information. Because I was like, okay, like you said, yours is different because it's just you and you don't have children. So you make decisions based on just you. Right. But those some of the same things, like what you just said, discipline, consistency, a plan, and what's the last one? Associations, mentors, having support systems. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things, and you got to be willing to invest in yourself. You've got to be willing to invest in learning new information. One of the things,
in yourself and learning new information.
Don't be cheap with yourself. We're not cheap when it comes to our clothes. We're not cheap when it comes to our car,
right?
With how we look. But you can't not be cheap with what you're putting into your mind and paying to meet the right people.
Right.
Like you got to put yourself in environments to meet people who got what you want. And sometimes it's not free.
And that's true. That's where it is. It's like you want to move up, you want to do these things. Like you said, sometimes the cost to it, investing in yourself and going to those events and meeting those type of people that you want to get to that level. It's not going to be inexpensive. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, and it's relative, right? It doesn't maybe not thousands of dollars, but you got to be willing to say, okay, I'm willing to invest $150 to go to this event where there's going to be 10 8-figure earners.
Right.
You know, like you can't say, you can't just want to go to the free things because you get what you pay for, right?
Exactly. Get what you pay for.
Yeah, when you want to level up in your life, man, you're number one, so you got to be willing to invest in you because those things, those connections, that information, that's going to give you a return on your investment. You know, so you got to be willing to invest in you. I think that's the number one thing. And another thing, Linda, before we get out of here is one, like I talked about discipline, right? Before I actually made the leap of faith and left my job and I was just building my business, I created a discipline for myself, a reward system. Basically, if I didn't hit certain targets in my business, and this is when I had a check coming in.
Right.
If I was supposed to, get a new client this week and I didn't do that, I was like, I can't sleep on my bed. I got to sleep on the floor. And I had to do things like that to force me. So when I was able to take the job, I had already built certain habits of you got to get it done or else you don't get this. And I want to sleep on my mattress. I don't want to sleep on the floor.
Now, that's some serious reward punishment system, but it's not really a punishment. It's more like you said, you set things in place for you, personal rewards or.
And the first thing you got to be is you got to be accountable to yourself. See, we always talk about accountability partners, and that's great. It's important, but you got to hold yourself accountable. We got to start holding
accountable to yourself.
You know, we kind of like, I don't got to do it. Just last week, I mean, I didn't really share it with anyone. Last week, I did a 7-day water fast. I ate no food, just water for 7 days. And it was not for purposes. It was a straight discipline thing.
Wow.
It's because they say your stomach is the control center of your body. So if you can't control not eating, you can't get ready for high levels of success because you're not going to be disciplined enough to do what you need to do if you can't even skip a meal. You feel what I'm saying?
Girl.
So sometimes for me, I test myself because everything is mental. It's building mental toughness. Once you become mentally tough, no one can break you. You know.
You say building mental toughness.
Yeah.
Now, I told you when we started this show, I said, I don't know why we're going on here trying to get this all in one, because you're one of those part 2, part 3 guests. So, this is not ending here. So for those listening, I can tell you this will not be the last of Miss DaLioness because she will be back because this is information. See, I'm sitting here now going, I don't know what time it is, but I know we got to wrap it up. And I also know I'm still sitting here going, what is she getting ready to say next? What is she? Because I'm like leading in. I'm hearing what you're saying when you start talking about your accountability to yourself and the mental toughness that, you put in place and the reward system you put in place for yourself. Did you just say, if I didn't make my goal, I had to sleep on the floor? Those are the kind of things where you took away the comfort of your bed and said, I'm sleeping on the floor because I didn't make that goal. Those are things you put in place for yourself. So accountability, like you said, is fine if you have accountability person, but I think you do, in your case, you did put more toughness on your tough. You were more tough on yourself for not meeting your goals. And that accountability person wouldn't have done that, but you did that to yourself to make sure that you made that goal the next time. Like you said, I want to get back in my bed. I want my comfortable bed. But so you made sure that you made that goal so you could get back in the bed. So get off the floor, should I say. But is anything else, last thing to share? This will be a part 2. Don't worry.
I mean, I'm just grateful, you gave me the opportunity to, kind of share on your platform, kind of a part of my journey. And just to let people know and let you know, because I know it's something that you're, even planning on doing. And you're doing the right thing. You're talking to people who've done it, kind of learning from their experience when you're ready for your own. But, what I'll just kind of leave with, if you're willing, to do what's required, if you're willing to go the extra mile, if you're willing to, work 24 hours a day so you don't have to work 40 hours a week for someone else. If those are the things that you're willing to do, then go for it because You're your greatest investment, and you're not going to let yourself down.
Right. There you go.
Other people may let you down, but you're not going to let you down.
There you
So if
go.
it's something that you want to do and you're willing to do the work, it's not going to be easy. But if you're willing to do the work, and if you're willing to, stay consistent long enough for your results to show up, go for it. And I'll end with this. A story one of my mentors told me. It was about a Chinese bamboo tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Chinese bamboo tree. Actually, you plant it, and you water it and you nurture it for 5 years, and nothing happens. This is how this tree actually grows. Nothing happens for 5 years. But after that 5th year, it sprouts, it grows. But guess what? Most people wouldn't do what's required for 5 years consistently without seeing the breakthrough. But
Exactly.
Guess what? 5, you break through, but you got to
5 years.
You've got to put the groundwork in. You've got to be willing to just do it anyway, because you believe and you're planting seeds and you're sowing seeds. If you sow seeds, man, you're gonna reap a harvest.
And there you go.
And that's what I want to leave everyone with. It's gonna take some time, but be consistent. Go after it. Do the work.
Right. And that's a good ending, because that patience and the resilience, it's going to take time. Planting that seed, sowing the seed, and waiting for it to grow. 5 years. Most people give up after 1 or 2. Oh no, it ain't happened yet. I got to get out of here. I moved to something else now.
After 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
But you got to ask yourself: are you willing to give it 5 years to get the goal and live free? Because freedom is what we're after.
Exactly.
Or are you willing to just work for 40 years to never really be free?
Oh, that just sounds so bad when you say that. Work for 40 years. Which way? Let's see. Which one? Work for 40 years, don't be free, or be free and I like the other. I like the other one.
Both are hard. Choose your heart. What reward is going to be greater for you at the end of the day? To me, the 5-year plan was what I was willing to do. And I'm approaching my 5th year now.
I love it. Well, congratulations approaching your 5th year. So I want oh my God. I like that. Which hard do you want to choose? Both are hard. Which hard do you want to choose? I like that. So tell me this. Well, actually tell the audience this. Thank you for all that. I hope you guys wrote your information down. I always like to say, come with something, because you don't have to write it down. Just keep replaying it over and over, because we need those views and subscribers. So just keep replaying it and just send it to everyone. But for you, let everybody know where to find you and what, I think you talked about a little bit of what you're doing next. Quick, what you're doing next and where people can find you.
Okay, definitely. So you can find me on social media, like Linda said. I'm on social
everywhere.
Media. I'm on Facebook, Sophia Lightbourne. Instagram, my Instagram name is I am the Lioness, so it's a DA Lioness. Okay, bad English.
I love the Lioness.
I am the Lioness. YouTube, you just search my name, Sophia Lightbourne. You Google me, you'll find my content. You'll find me all over the internet. And definitely follow, subscribe. I'd like to connect with all of you guys. See what you thought of the podcast. And I appreciate you. And for me, what's next is just one of the things that I'm working on right now with Novae and our company and the culture that I'm creating is the goal is to create, as a movement, to create 100 millionaires in the next 5 years.
Wow.
2024. I know I'm going to be one of them. And my goal is to have 20 or 25 of those people directly connected to me. And for me, I just said this is my winning season, and everything attached to me wins. So I'm glad we're attached. And if you see my shirt, it actually says the art of winning.
I love it. Y'all better attach to something. Y'all better get on the bandwagon. She said she's making some millionaires. This is millionaires a year.
That's what it's about. It's not about the money is okay. Yes, it's a byproduct, but the goal is impact and influence in a positive way. And I want to be able to impact as many lives as possible. And let's make some money and have a good time at the same time.
Let's make some money and have a good time. You got the information she gave you. So if you're not a No Plan B, join a No Plan B. Get ready to join a No Plan B. You got your notes. You know what to do. Subscribe, jump on, and stay on, because she's going to be back. It's going to be a part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever. But it's going to be enough for her to get her information out, because if she's all over social media like she is, you can't wrap this up in a 30, 45-minute podcast. But anyway, so it's more coming. Thank you for being a guest. You will be back, because you definitely have more to share. And we'll talk more. Follow Miss the Lioness, Sophie. Thanks so much for being our guest. And we'll see you in the next round, because we'll be back.